Hey friends, welcome back to the Deep Dive Snippet. What you're about to hear is a clip from a conversation that I had with sex and relationships educator and creator Hannah Witton, and we touched on the topic of how many sexual partners is too many, and should we care about this idea of body count when it comes to sex and relationships. And honestly, I think Hannah's advice here is really spot on, and I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments as well. Anyway, let's roll the clip. On a similar vein, what's your take on the usefulness of number of sexual partners?
Yeah, I also think that that's another one that just like you shouldn't care. I think it's more about like the attitudes that people have, maybe. Like, I think it's a useful thing to have conversations with like potential like romantic and sexual partners about like their attitudes towards casual sex and their attitudes towards like why they've slept with that many people or why they've not slept with that many people, rather than it being about like the number itself holding any information. Like, what does that, as you would say, data point tell you? Like I think actually being able to drill down with somebody about like, how were those experiences? Like, did you have a good time? Like, what was your motivation for not having sex outside of a relationship? What was your motivation for like having lots of sex outside, like casual sex and stuff? I think that will tell you a lot more about a person than like the hard number itself.
Okay, yeah,
Ali's
that makes
thinking.
sense. I'm thinking. For the record, I'm with you on this one. But I've spoken to a few of my guy friends and tried to argue that point of view of like number of sexual partners shouldn't matter. Come on, guys, you know, it's the 21st century. Let's move on, etc., etc. To which a response I've often heard is, look, there is a difference between someone who's had 3 sexual partners and someone who's had 300 sexual partners. What
difference do they see? What's the difference that they're thinking about? Is it like a difference in like that person's attitudes towards sex?
I suspect that's probably what they're getting at.
Well, so that's maybe what they should be focusing on. Also, what standards do they hold themselves to? Like, are they also the kind of person who would maybe only be having 3 sexual partners total, right? Because there can be a lot of like judgment and double standards there as well. So like for somebody who's slept with 3 people versus someone who's slept with 300, to these friends, like what information is that telling you about them? Like what kind of girl is that versus what kind of girl is that? And what is it about one over the other that you prefer? Rather than like, so ignore the number, but like actually drill down of like, what assumptions are you making about that person's character? What assumptions are you making about that kind of person's values or lifestyle or STI status? Like we could and so actually like, there's probably a lot of assumptions that they're holding about these 2 like fictional characters in their head. And then also asking themselves, do you hold yourself to the same standards? Like, and how would you feel if somebody else judged you a certain way based on the number of people that you'd slept with? And then just being like, do you know what? It's absolutely fine, I think, if for you, sex is something that you only want to share with a certain kind of person. So maybe your number is lower, and maybe the people that you want to have sex with have similar values to you. It just so happens then that both of your numbers are low. But it's actually the values that you're holding and the beliefs that you're holding that are the things that make you compatible, rather than like the fact that you've both only slept with 3 people. You could also have somebody who like has lived a whole life, had a lot of casual sex, and then like come out of that and been like, actually, like I've now discovered that this is what I want, and actually I want the next time that I sleep with someone for it to be like somebody that I'm in a loving relationship with. So maybe they would actually still be compatible with that person, but their number's way higher.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I think that's that thing of like the number is, it's not about the number, it's about the values that you think, that you're kind of assuming that number kind of correlates with. And we should talk about the values.
So the next time one of your friends goes like, oh well, I wouldn't want to date someone who slept with 300 people, just be like, tell me about that person. This imaginary person in your mind who slept with 300 people, tell me about them, and what are the things about them that you think makes them undateable for you? Hey friends, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, then click here for the full unedited episode. And if you like that, then do please consider subscribing to the channel. It means a lot. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.